So, recording start. Testing a camera, and so far so good with everything. I have to say, sometimes when you start, when you have an idea in your hand, in your head, in your hand also, when you have an idea, sometimes you think, what if I execute the idea? And in my case, I executed the idea, and then you start really believing your ideas. You live the idea. You enjoy the idea. You breathe, you dream about it. Everything continues step by step. And then there comes a point that you start realizing that the little snowball is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because your ideas in your head is getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Your self-belief is growing. Your energy, your positive energy is growing. And what happens is that you start attracting other people with the same mindset and same energy. Basically, what I want to say is we all have ideas. Sometimes you have to just execute, and it's really cliche, but you need to start, and especially to artists, an idea is just an idea. Sometimes people say, oh man, look at that painting. I mean, I can do that. Or look at that, I can do that. Yeah, but why didn't you do it? Right? We all have ideas, and idea is just an idea. It's also related to mental health, and I really realized that a lot of people are dealing with mental health issues because there's a blockage within themselves that they cannot seem to let it out, let it go. And what do I mean by that? I find that through art and through, it doesn't have to be only art, through something you enjoy, basically. It can be even your kids, right? To something you enjoy or your hobby, it really helps you, how can I say? It really helps you forget about things that can really put pressure on yourself and on the way you see, the way you look at the day. That's the thing I wanted to say. Because if you're just at home doing nothing, watch TV, go to work, come home, cycle repeats, then what's the meaning of life? What's the real meaning? At the end of the day, what's the meaning, right? I have my parents-in-law here visiting, and I also had a very strong realization. I had an interview with him. I had a very strong realization that at the end of the day, there are very simple things in life that really matters. Very simple, because you're gonna end up being very old and thinking, geez, did I stress myself out for all these silly things? Did I stress myself out for all things that really don't matter? Just noise and distractions that happens every day. And it's important to bring awareness to yourself, awareness to this noise that you see around you, and learn, get to know yourself, or if it's really hard, or if you're lost, just give it a try, or try to talk to someone, or try to eliminate things that that can distract you. And it's really hard, again, to say it, because I've been there, done that. I've also been through that. Like, for instance, in my case, it was drinking. I mean, I wouldn't say borderline alcoholic, but especially in this city, we love to drink, and in the sense of there's always a reason to celebrate. There's always a reason to being invited to a barbecue and have a nice glass of wine, which is fine, which is beautiful. You really have to enjoy life. But that being said, over the course of years, you start realizing, hey, geez, I always was driven, or I always had this idea, but I always get distracted again. But in my case was, a lot of parties, a lot of amazing times, amazing memories. But what I really deep in my heart wanted to achieve, it never happened. Procrastination, distractions, low self-esteem, low self-belief. And what happened to me, basically, that's the point I want to make, is that what happened? All of a sudden, something happened. I decided to stop drinking 3 years ago, and I saw this guy online who was saying, you will look at yourself in the mirror, and you start saying, you know what, I'm done, man. And for me, it's not even about alcohol, but everybody can do whatever they want. I'm not even advocating for you, oh, you need to stop drinking. It's not that. It's about the challenge and facing the challenge. That's what it's about. It's not even about alcohol. It's about facing a challenge, facing an addiction, facing a distraction. And I faced it. And surprisingly, once I won that battle, which was a really high mountain to climb, after that, everything was easy. Because I realized, okay, so it's a pattern. It's all a pattern. I was really into sports. Did compete in how can you say, like, I wouldn't say triathlon, but kind of like a multi-sport race. The same thing, I was challenged again, go up on the mountain, run, get the bicycle. I was cycling in Ireland, which was on the other side of the street. So everything was just very tough. But I finished. And then when I started doing art, it reminded me of all these challenges. The challenges of, okay, there we go again. There's this mountain of you need to learn. You're going to be new. People are not going to take you serious. People are going to be like, yeah, whatever, But once you start climbing that mountain, you start getting up and up and up and up. People start saying, oh, geez, oh, you're climbing that mountain, man. What's going on? He's driven. And then once you're on top of that mountain, you start free falling, as in enjoying, because you worked so hard for something. And I'm not saying I'm there. I'm nowhere near, where I want to be. But at least I started. And that's what it's about. It's about starting something. Starting something you really enjoy, because at the end of the day, you're going to be old. You're going to be in your 70s. You're going to be and you're going to look back and going to say, okay, what have I done? What is my book? My book of life. What's my book of life? What's written in it? That you've been stressing too much about things that should not matter? That you were having fights with people about things that shouldn't matter? Did you really enjoy maybe family, friendship, or did you really travel? Did you wanted to travel always, but now you can't? Now that you're finally old, but you can because you have knee issues? I don't know. I'm just saying, right? The time is right now. And that's what I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm going to take this art stuff serious. I said, it's now. And do something you're passionate about. And if you do not know what's your passion, you will find it. You will find it. A friend of mine, I was talking to him. I was telling him about this thing about passion. And I told him, look, dude, you're also an artist. But I know that he knows that he's not an artist. But that's because he thinks he's not an artist. I say we are all artists in our own way. Art is about expression, right? So you need to first start understanding that you can believe in yourself, saying, look, I want to express myself in a way, And I told him, look, why don't you go on your motorbike? And he proposed like, hey, maybe photography. I said, dude, that's amazing. photography, that'll be something cool. You drive around, the country, you bring your camera. I said to him, and I recommend you, I said, take an analog camera, not a digital one. Because then you're gonna learn the process of, with the lighting, the result, the whole story behind developing camera, the rolls. It's a whole different world, and it's a beautiful world. But it's at least you're gonna start doing something you like. And if there's no purpose, that's basically my story I want to share. Because, it's also nice and cool to share, my work and all that stuff. And I'm really happy doing the interviews with artists. But I think it's also important for me to really express myself. And expression shouldn't be only art, it should be also thoughts and words to maybe help others, because maybe someone else is looking at my work and think, oh, I really wish I could do something like him. And I'm gonna tell you, then do it. Try it. Why can't you try? Why can't you not try sculpting? You never know. I never tried sculpting in my life. I never did sculpting. I was into music. I never looked into sculpting. One day, I was just so tired of music, and I was like, I need something new. I'm just tired of the whole repetitive stuff. I was playing guitar, and the same stuff was coming out. I was just done. I was like, oh, I'm tired. I want to have the butterfly feeling in my stomach. That feeling, I really missed that. And then somehow I got some clay for my son, and we went to Italy. And I was in the flight. I was a bit bored, I was like, here, I take some clay to play. And I said, look, you take one half, I take one half. The moment I start playing with the clay, I was like, okay, let's make a nose, right? I was like, let's make a nose. So we were playing together, and the way that the clay was, the feeling, the touch, for me the touch, it's about the feeling. I was feeling again. I said, oh wow, feeling. What a beautiful feeling. For me, it wasn't not even the result. It was already the connection I had. It's a connection, and we need to start getting connected. Because if you only watch TV and all that stuff, you're not connected. You're watching a script written by someone else. Connection is feeling. Connection is here. The moment I start making I think the first thing I did was a nose. I was like, oh wow, I was making a nose like this. And I was like, that's funny, that's weird. I was like, oh, that's funny, I make a nose, And I gave it to him. I said, look, Noah, Papa made a nose. And the moment I made that nose, I was like, wow, that's weird. Why is this feeling new? I like this feeling of creating something. And it was silly, but it always asked me again, like I felt attracted again to do some clay. I was like, okay, let me try to make a hand. Let me try to make eyes. Let me try to make a face and all that stuff, whatever. Then everything started to continue from there. So whether it's sculpting, whether it's reading a book, whether it's starting your own business, whether it's traveling, whether it's finding a new love, finding, it's all the same thing. You need to first be passionate and really want it. If you don't want something, you're just gonna be in your thoughts. You're gonna be dreaming, and that's it. I'm gonna continue. I have an idea to make because, and that's also the beautiful thing about it. The moment I create something, my head is just literally processing ideas. So I'm like, I make something, and then again, straight away I have another idea. Straight away I have another idea. Straight away so it's like a beautiful, because you get into the zone of something, and then you start becoming consistent because ideas are like piling up in my head. But I'm like, I don't have time to make everything. So basically, I wanted to share this message with the world, and hope you can take something from it, because even though it might not be so important for you, it can be important for someone else. You know, I wrote a song. No, I did a cover. I think it was something like 18 years ago. And then I didn't even watch that, you know, on my YouTube channel. This was 18 years ago. Then I went back and I logged in, and then I saw a message. You know, those typical channels that you made it once and then you never enter it. And I was like, oh, let me check actually. You know, maybe I can edit some videos. And I saw all these messages, and people were like, oh my God, this song helped me so much. I really loved it. Love from Australia, love from Brazil. Dude, my dad passed away and he really was a fan of you. I just wanted to share this with you. I'm his son, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? What's going on here? This was something I posted 18 years ago, and I just put it there, put the seed there and let it go. And I was like, whatever. I continued my life. And then that created something so powerful for someone else. And then when I saw that, I said, you know what? You see, you should get this message out, because maybe for someone else, if they see this, it can be meaningful for them. And if this is a way to help you out or convince you, and that could lead to helping for you to help someone else and someone else, that's how we help each other, right? Anyways, enough talking. Let's start do some work. Hope you have a good day. Peace out and stay hydrated.